Hey gang, hope you're doing well today. So in this video, we're going to be working on more math. This is a little bit less specific to SAT and it's more fun math challenge. I would say it's SAT adjacent. And the theme of it is Minnesota Timberwolves, just to commemorate their win yesterday, honor their 20-point comeback, and, have some fun with it. So we'll start with these questions and we'll just see how they go. Ant Edwards has a vertical of 1.05 meters. His trajectory can be calculated through the equation ht equals negative 4.9 t squared plus bt plus c, where h is the height in meters. If he takes off from the ground, at what point will he reach an apex for the block? So let's say t equals 0 when he takes off, and let's say c is 0, right? So it looks like there's three variables, c, b, and t. But if he's taking off from the ground and that's our reference point, we can say c equals 0. Okay. And then that helps a bit, but then it still looks like we have two variables in one equation. But we know the height at the vertex, so we actually have two equations. We have ht equals negative 4.9 t squared plus bt. And then we also have, remember, the vertex is negative b over 2a. So the vertex is going to be here negative b over negative 9.8. That equals t, okay, at the vertex. So then if we solve for b here, we get b equals 9.8 t, because we multiply here, and the negatives canceled. So 9.8 t is what b equals, and now we can plug that in for b and plug in 1.05 for height and solve for t. So we're going to get 1.05 equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 9.8 t. So that gets us 1.05 equals negative 4.9 t squared plus 9.8 t squared. So 1.05 equals 4.9 t squared. So if we divide both sides by 4.9, divide by 4.9, t squared equals 1.05 over 4.9. And then if we square root both sides, we're going to get t equals square root of 1.05 divided by 4.9, right? And now if you put that into your calculator, you will get 1.05 divided by 4.9 equals 0.21. So it's the square root of 0.21. And that would be around 0.45. Which if you think about the speed of a jump, right? It's a little bit less than half a second to get to the top and the same amount of time down. So if you watch a game, right, no matter how high they jump, that usually takes them around a second if they're jumping high like this. And that's how long it takes Edwards to jump, typically, right? He's jumping really high to block at the end of a game, like at the end of that Pacers game where he hit his shoulder on the rim or something. Maybe that's a little longer, but here on this typical jump, 0.45 seconds to get to the top. Now let's try this one. Against the Nuggets in the 2024 playoffs, the Timberwolves had a 47% field goal percentage on 562 shots. In the first 6 games, they shot 233 out of 483. How many field goals did they make in game 7? Okay, so again, we can use this to study how to not use all the information and just use the information that matters. The 483 doesn't actually matter because we can find the total shots made by doing 0.47 times 562. So let's do that. Right. Let's do some long multiplication practice, right? Column multiplication. So 7 times 2 is 14, carry the 1. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 1, 43, carry the 4. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 4, 39. And then we write a 0. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 6 is 24, so it's 4, carry the 2. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 2, 22. So then we add 4 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 3 is 11, so 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 4 is 14, carry the 1. 3 plus 1 plus 2 is 6. And then we have 2. And then we can do the decimal 2 to the right. So the 47% was probably rounding. So we get 264. 264 shots they make. So how many did they make in game 7? You would do 264 minus 233, and you get 31 field goals. And that is what they made in game 7 to win the series and go on to play the Mavs. All right, so last one. 2 minutes into the third quarter, the Wolves were down 38-58 to the Nuggets. The final score was Wolves 98, Nuggets 90. By how much did the Wolves outscore the Nuggets per minute in the remaining parts of the third quarter and the fourth quarter? Remember, a quarter in basketball is 12 minutes long. So this is just for the casuals, but you know it. So now we're going to do, first, let's find how much time is left, right? So we have 12 minus 2 minutes for the third. So that gets us 10 plus 12. So we get 22 minutes left. And now let's see how much they outscored them by. So let's see how much they scored. They went from 98. They started at 38. So they had scored 60 Wolves points. That's pretty good. That is pretty good for a half. Less than a half, especially in the playoffs. And then the Nuggets went from 90 and they started at 58. So that is 32 points. That is not so great, even for a playoff half. Okay. So now let's find how much they were outscored by. 60 minus 32 gets us 28 points. And now per minute, we'll do 28 divided by 22. And that gets us approximately 1.27 points per minute. You can just put that in your calculator. So it's not that, not that, not that. It is A. Okay. So that is the third question of this, right? Shows just how impressive, right? If you outscore a team by 1.27 points a minute in a game, you'd be beating them by like 60 points. And yeah, I hope you had some fun with this. Again, more SAT adjacent, but you get the idea. It's still helpful. This is especially helpful. The negative 4.9, you'll see a lot because acceleration of gravity. And on these, right, you can use it to see how to eliminate information and process the information in the question to solve. So I hope you have fun with this. If you have any questions on this, you want to see more material or different themes even, put it in the comments, and I hope you all have a good night. Go Wolves.